We've been talking about superheroes for a while, but I have my own example of vigilante justice from last weekend.
Oh, yes!
Yeah.
All right, everybody stand up straight. Get your collar on, pop it. Taylor's got a story.
Yeah, so last weekend, me and my dad and my stepmom were driving down to meet up with a bunch of people, mostly family, for the Mizzou tailgate. It was one of the first tailgates, and we were all going there. And so it was supposed to be a fun day. My dad wakes me, or I get over there, and I sleep the whole way in the car until we get to the parking garage. And we quickly realize, as we're 6 levels up in this parking garage, like, shit, this place might be entirely full. And then we started seeing those cars come back around and pass us, and we're like, fuck, we're screwed. We're going to have to try and find somewhere else in the city. And then as we're taking one of those turns, we look straight ahead, and we see a tall, lanky college student and a recycling bin with like those 4 circles that you can put plastic cups and stuff into. And he was just standing right in the middle of a spot. And my dad stopped, like we're probably 30 feet from him. And my dad goes, is that just a regular spot? Like, Taylor, is that just a normal spot? And I kind of like looked around. I'm like, yeah, that's just a normal spot. And he goes, well, get out and move that kid. And I was like, okay. And so I opened the door in the back and I lean out and I'm like, hey, is that a handicap spot? Like, I was trying to be polite as a way of saying, like, hey, we're clearly interested in being in this spot that you're just standing in because you're disobeying the conduct of society right now. And he goes, no, it's not a handicapped. And I was like, oh, okay, we're going to park there. And he goes, like, Kane, I'm saving it. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. And my dad said, he goes, Taylor, go move that kid in that trash can. And so I got out of the car. This guy's probably 3 inches taller than me, 4 inches taller than me, but very lean. I'm twice as broad as him. And I walk over to him and I'm like, dude, we're taking this spot. Like, that's the way this is going to go. It's going to happen. You can't just reserve spots like this. And he's like, I'm a pledge at a fraternity. I'm going to be in so much trouble if they don't let me save this spot. Please just don't take this spot. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I don't fucking care. And I started dragging away the recycling bin away out of the spot. And he grabbed the other side of it and like gave it a little tug. And I quickly was like, no. And I put it over to the side. And he's still standing there. And I'm like, dude, please move. We're going to park here. Like, that's the way it's going to go. And he's like, oh, I bet you feel like you're a big guy right now, bullying someone who's, a freshman in college. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want this to happen. I don't want to be in this position. This is uncomfortable as shit. There are people, mind you, this is before a giant football game in an SEC school, so we are not alone in this parking garage. Lots of people walking around as this is happening. And the guy, I give him like a very gentle like push of the arm, not a shove, just like trying to usher him out like a crowd out of the way to let my dad pull in safely. And he bucks up and he gets all, I'm not moving. You're this is ridiculous. I'm going to be in so much trouble. He kept yelling that. I'm going to be in so much trouble if you take the spot from me. I have to reserve it for my frat. And I was like, no, you don't get to just reserve spots in public places. That's not how this works. And so I bear grabbed the guy around him and I pulled him to the side of the spot. And I thought that was enough because then my dad started inching forward and I was like, okay, the kid knows that he's been beaten. And so I let him go and he sprints back into the spot right up against my dad's bumper as my dad's like 2 feet into the spot. And he's standing there not letting my dad pull in all the way. And I was like, dude, come on. Like, I don't want to have to do this. You are making me do this right now. Like, you can't just reserve spots like this. And so I went over, I picked him up again as he struggled minimally, not a very strong gentleman, and I carried him over and then just held him for the next 6 seconds or so as my dad finished pulling in. And then I let him go, of course, because I don't actually want to be doing this. And he turns around at me and he's all, oh, I bet you feel like a big man. Bet you feel like a big man holding me while you take the spot. I'm like, no, dude, like, I just am here for a football game. Like, I don't want any of this. This is so uncomfortable. Do you not see how many fucking people are looking at us? And my dad and my stepmom are still getting out of the car. And he goes, yeah, well, I'm real glad I know where you parked. And then I had like a public like freak out on the guy to the point that I could tell it was like when a dad yells at a kid how scared he was, where like it was resonating through the parking garage. And I'm like, did you just threaten me? Did you just threaten my property in this parking garage? Are you kidding me? What fraternity are you in? What's your name? And he's like, dude, settle down, dude. Like, I'm not gonna do anything to your car. I'm not gonna do anything to your car. I promise. I'm like, oh, after you threaten me, do I need to make sure you go down there and stay away from this car? And my dad got out and he walks up and he goes, click, click. He goes, all right, now I know who to talk about if anything happens to this car. And then took a picture of the guy. And then I just grabbed the cooler and left. And that was it. It was
that's vigilante justice, I would say. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I hate that. I didn't know that was a real thing. I've seen that, like, YouTube videos of that, of like those people who do that, who try to stand in a parking space. It's not like a seat at the movie theater. You can't do that. These are for vehicles.
Dude,
and
it's rude to on a busy day just say, oh, I'm going to save this parking spot. I can just save this like it's a seat at the movies or a restaurant. Like, no, dude, that's not how society works. You don't just get to save parking spots for your friend, your drunk idiot frat boy friend to show up later. If I have to carry you away, that's the way it's going to be. But we're getting this spot.
Do you think you would have freaked out on him as much if it weren't for your cycle that you're on? Do you think that you got a little bit of roid rage? Maybe. Maybe
that could be it. I so roided up when my dad said, hey, get that guy out of the spot. I just thought, oh, this is what we play for. Drag it out, slam it. And, no,
Taylor, how much weight have you gained in like the last year? How long have you been hitting the gym?
Really hard for like between 6 and 7 months.
Really?
Yeah. I've put on quite a bit of time.
Damn, dude. What, did you hire a trainer or how did you do that?
I just did YouTube and bodybuilding.com research, and then bought kettlebell weights for my house and got a bench, and then just started doing that.
See, now I would love to put on some mass, but like my appetite, I got to tell you, despite how much marijuana, despite my marijuana intake, it does not help. Like, I can't imagine eating as much food as I would need to eat, because like where my height and weight is, I would need to eat like between 2,500 and 3,000 calories every day. And to me, that to me is like, I want to vomit just thinking about eating that much food.
I do a ton of protein shakes and shit like that.
Does your stomach like expand eventually to allow for more food to get in there, or like how does that even work?
Honestly, like the amount of normal food that I eat hasn't increased that much. It's just I'm eating better food, and then I do a lot of protein shakes, because if I were to just eat chicken to the point that I hit 200 grams of protein a day, it would be so much chicken I'd feel sick constantly. And so I just eat a normal amount of food and then drink I drink 2 double protein shakes a day, so that's 120 grams of protein I get just from that. And then I try to eat about 80 grams
with like
normally.
oatmeal oats and peanut butter and like that kind of stuff. Yeah,
like that. A lot of turkey bacon, a lot of vegetables, very bland chicken, ground turkey, steaks.
I just can't even eat. I can't eat that much. I just can't.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like the first part of working out, and I mean, we all are doing a fitness thing right now. Woody has had to transition to just doing the diet part of the fitness because of his foot, but you're still sticking on with that, which is a win. Actually, how are you doing with that, by the way?
I like to think I'm exactly the same. I did weigh in 1 pound higher over the 5 weeks I've been injured. And but 1 pound, like, bodies fluctuate, but so I'm either the same or 1 pound up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's no gain. Hey, I mean, I think we said going into it that if you leave the same weight you were, then that's a win in and of itself, because you can't do activities.
Yeah, so I spend an hour a day in the pool as a minimum, and I usually find like 30 or 40 minutes of some other kind of PT to do. So that's where I am. I hope to be walking next week.
That's good.
Taylor, what testosterone booster did you get?
Oh yeah, this ties back into the minoxidil hair thing we started a while ago.
Yeah.
So Kyle was obviously saying with Chiz, and Chiz has been under the table doing hair growth treatments, I guess. And so I bought that because I thought it would be a funny bit if I also did a beard growth treatment. Yeah. And then Kyle said he's getting testosterone pills, and so I just bought Evolution Nutrition ones off Amazon. They're like, it's like $23 or something. I don't know which ones are good. I just looked at the reviews because I figured if Kyle's gonna take it, I'm gonna take it too. And
I gotta say, I'm disappointed that none of you guys picked up any of Alex Jones' supplements.
Caveman! I'm on the broth. 24/7.
Hutch, there's something you have to know about our fitness regimen around here, and the fact remains that bone broth is the only way.
Stop it.
You don't use bone broth. Bone broth is the only patented I'm not trying as hard as I can to turn red. Chiz, you're right. I need to turn redder.
I wish there was an alternate universe where I could see Taylor with and without the supplements. Like I want, like, because all I did is clean up my diet and start kettlebelling. Taylor's kettlebelling harder than me. He's getting better results, obviously. But like, how much of it is like the creatine, and will he go next level when he goes on testosterone? If that's what that's called, I don't even know.
Projecting that this is going to do absolutely nothing, and I won't be able to tell. But the thing I can't tell is making a difference is just fucking eating so much protein, like just so much more than you think you need.
How do
trying.
How do you know that it's that and not the creatine?
Oh, it could be the creatine. But the creatine, all that really does is make it so your muscle cells can hold more water, so that they can rehydrate and heal themselves better. And so you have to be drinking a ton of water when you're on creatine to stay healthy. But like, there's nothing in creatine that makes it like magic or anything. It's just like the most common supplement. But it's definitely doing something, I think. Like I wouldn't continue to use it if I didn't think it was working, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Do your pills smell incredibly strong and chemically?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right, we got same formula.
Wait, look at how much they want me to take every day. They want me to take 4 of these fucking horse pills.
Look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how many you're
gag reflex just looking at that.
Nah, bullshit. That's not nearly enough. Let me tell you how many you actually want to take.
It says on the exceed.
Yeah, it said. Fuck that. You're a man. I mean, if you're a pregnant woman, don't. Or
Hey,
you know,
do you want to know the actual trick, the marketing trick, why they say things like that?
Tell me.
It's not because there's any danger to it. It's the same reason that for commercials like Hydroxycut, they'll say, this is not a product if you just need to lose 5 pounds. If you need to lose 5 pounds, this product is not for you. If you're looking to lose more than 50 pounds, like, that's intentionally meant so that people who only need to lose 5 pounds go, fuck, if this is for people who need to lose 50 pounds, I'm going to lose it in no time. And then those are the people who purchase it the most. So that's just a clever little thing. If I took this whole bottle right now, I'd pee really yellow and that would be it.
Yes. So what you want to do is you want to take 3 twice a day instead of 2 twice a day. And when your pee turns, it won't turn yellow. It's going to turn green. And when your pee turns green, you'll know that you're at maximum absorption. All right? And things are all good then, okay?
That's when you've truly become an Ubermensch at that point.
Yes. I don't know if I want my
going to be the predator.
I'm not even kidding about this. Your pee is going to turn green.
What color green though? Is it one of those greens that some people call yellow?
No, it is absolutely not. It is the kind of green that you'd call someone in to show. It is like light. It is like Kool-Aid.
I'm not sure if I want a photo of this on your Instagram. I'm like, sure.
I have an Instagram account. I forgot to shout it out when Harley told me you need 10,000 followers on Instagram and you'll get all the pussy you ever want. Or he said something. STL_Taylor. Follow me on Instagram, everybody.
All right.
There you go.
Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping that that the hair growth thing takes off more, because the funniest, like for me, result would be if like I start applying it and it gets just beyond thick and it starts working great, and it doesn't work for Kyle and Chiz.
Yeah.
For the bit. In terms of the bit, if you wanted to, you could not shave like the neck and above it and just come in Wolfman. And
no, I hate the way I look when I let my upper cheek hair come in.
I didn't say it would improve your look. I said it'd be funny.
You gotta keep it somewhat, somewhat.
Yeah, as funny as the bit is, and I was on board at first, but like after I'd already received the stuff, then I started researching side effects and stuff, and like, look, I just talked about putting
the hair, the testosterone stuff,
the hair, the minoxidil, but. I'm the guy who's talking about putting so much T-booster in your system you piss green, and yet when I like the side effects of the minoxidil seem to be weight gain, which who cares? I personally don't. I'm pretty light. And B, it was like rapid heart rate, and oh god, there was another bad one. There was a bad one, like shortness of breath. That was it. And when I hear rapid heart rate and shortness of breath combined, yeah, like I'm like I don't want that shit. That sounds bad. So like. I'm going to let, as soon as Chiz shows up and he looks like that fucking Giants Bane guy from Game of Thrones with just a fucking Leonidas beard that's just mighty as fuck, then I'll start rubbing it in real good on my face twice a day, which is what you're supposed to do. But I'm honestly concerned about those side effects in particular, because it's a legitimate, like, chemical. Like, there's no, there's some argument about what's in here and what's not. everything I keep reading says that there's trace amounts of actual fucking steroids in here. And if you were to be like, if you were,
What is yours called?
Mine is T-Bomb 3 Extreme, which is a brand that I've always. It's the brand I've always used. It used to be just T-Bomb, and when we took it as like when we were 18 or 19, I can honestly say the side effects were I was definitely more aggressive. I just was. I was in a bad mood, kind of aggressive, if I'm being honest. And the number one thing was I was sweaty. When I worked out, I would just I would be like glistening and dripping sweat. And my cousin and I were working out the same amount, both of us, but I was taking this $80 bottle of pills and he was not. And I just got stronger than him. I was markedly stronger than him throughout our workouts. If he was benching 175, I was benching 195. It was a marked difference where like we would take weight off so he could do it.
So yours is $80 a bottle?
I don't remember what this was, to be honest, but when I was buying it back then, it was, because we'd have to I'd drive 25 miles or something. That's the nearest GNC at the time. There wasn't one local, and I would buy these things, and it was like, I was 18, so I was like, shit, it's $80 worth of fucking pills. But like the guy at GNC, who I probably getting a commission, he was like, yeah, that stuff actually does something, because that was our question when we walked in. It was like, what actually works? And he was like, creatine and protein work. And a lot of people swear by this stuff. And so, like, we bought creatine, protein, and this stuff. So,
yeah, my stuff isn't going to be nearly as good. It's only $23.
I enjoy moving furniture because I'm pretty good at it. Like I've got a really large dresser over here. You know, it's
a nice armoire.
Yeah. No, it's four drawers. And there's two rows of them, so 8 total drawers, and it's what I've got my television on, and it's incredibly heavy. Not quite as heavy as my television, which will definitely require help, but like because I live here with Kitty, a feeble woman, everything that's heavy has to be a one-man operation every single time. So like I've learned to do this stuff on my own. So like a dresser, I know, all right, get everything out of the drawers and then flip that motherfucker upside down on its top. The top's smooth. That slides on carpet like butter. I can move this like 300-pound dresser but like as quickly as I can run. Like I just start pushing it, sliding on the carpet, and it's across the house in just a minute, you know, and like.
It's funny being the only strong person around. Not that I'm tremendously strong, but I'm more than twice as strong as Jackie. Yeah. So, like, if something weighs 75 pounds, we might both carry it. If something weighs 100 pounds, she might get the other side. But if it were to weigh, like, 125 or 150 pounds, it's like, well, can you move over? You know, I'm trying to get this. She can't do that side. So then it becomes a one-man job.
Yeah, I've been conscripted into helping a few people move already this summer, or I guess over the summer, since summer's kind of winding down, and I don't mind that much. I just really, really hate it when I go into someone's place. Like it was like I guess a month ago now that I was going to a friend's place who had a pool, and we were like, oh, we'll go swimming, and he was like, well, my friend who lives across the way needs some help moving real quick. Do you mind? And I'm like, no, like whatever, that's okay. And so I walk over there, and I'm expecting it to be some furniture and a bunch of boxes packed up, and it's just like loose shit sitting around. And it's like, oh my god, if you're gonna ask for help, have it together, have it ready. And so it was like yeah, exactly, Chiz. That's not moving. You're in the packing stage. Like when my movers show up, like I make sure everything's in a box. Or if I do have people over, I'm not telling them, yeah, and grab that like loose TV that's not in a box and carry that down, and then pick up my magic card collection. Like no, like all I ended up doing was just helping him with big furniture, because I was just like, no, I'm not gonna help you pack.
I have three requirements. Three requirements. If you're going to be moved, this is how you do it. 1, like Taylor said, have your shit packed. 2, when you load it into the truck, either know what the fuck you're doing or step aside. And here's the hint, big stuff first. If you take all the boxes, put them into the back of the truck, and think you're a fucking Tetris master when dealing with all of these 1x1 cubes, you're not. If you want to be a Tetris master, put the table in there, the couch in there, and then fill in all the boxes around it. You'll get a much denser packing. Yeah. So that's 2. The third one is, on the unloading phase, direct us to where you want things. Don't just shrug your shoulders and not know. It's for both of us. You know, say, upstairs, second bedroom. People will go there. Your unpacking will be 100 times easier, and the unloading is 100 times easier. If you're a girl who can only carry lampshades, that's your job. Direct traffic. You're so much more useful than picking up lampshades.
And at the same time, don't start reorganizing shit while we're still moving in. When me and my buddy are carrying your couch, and he goes, put it there. And we put it somewhere. And he's like, actually, no, turn it this way. It's like, na-da-ta-ta-ta. It's here. This is your fucking problem. You can put it wherever you want.
Let me ask you this.
Your shit in the living room and just putting it in a pile in the middle. And then you deal with it. That's what I would do.
No. See, I'm not there. I don't want a big pile in the living room. No. Tell me which room it goes in.
No, of living room stuff, I mean. Like, when they say, this is in the living room, it's like, it gets to the living room, and then I'm not doing the fucking feng shui water garden thing for you.
I agree.
Let me ask you this. What do you think a proper reimbursement is if you're going to help a somewhat like a work friend move his entire house? And we're talking about, taking all his shit, putting it in a U-Haul, following the U-Haul 20 minutes across town, unloading it and putting it into the house. There are 3 total trips. He has heavy oaken furniture. By the end of the day, this is a coworker. By the end of the day, you have blisters. What compensation would you expect?
I'm pretty cheap, but here's what I'd want. Probably 2 meals, and they can't be pizza, and all the water I can drink.
I mean, that's a really reasonable request. I think I would want, yeah, you're right, 1 or 2 good meals, and then, because you work with them, like a monetary thing doesn't make any sense, and you wouldn't want that anyway, I don't think, but I would want the understood knowledge between us that when I called in a favor that was moving or that was inconvenient or that took a whole Saturday.
360 reviews in the office.
Yeah, that it would absolutely be like, okay, I'm there for you. That sounds shitty and it's going to take all Saturday, but I remember you did that for me. So really, it's more than the dinners. It's that favor that I would want, like when I'm in a pinch.
Well, he tried his best. He was a Russian man, and Sergey gave me a 12-pack of beer, and then later on he invited me to a rape barbecue.
A rape barbecue. And what happens there?
How much is a rape barbecue worth? Is that more or less than a BLT?
That's gotta be dinners.
About 35 to life, I would estimate.
I've never heard of a rape barbecue.
I've told this story.
Midwest, I've heard of all different kinds of barbecue.
I've told this story far too many times, but basically it was 4th of July, and Sergey invited me to come over to his barbecue, and I assumed that, it'll be me and Sergey, and I bet like 5 or 6 coworkers and 2 or 3 neighbors' families, and I met Sergey's wife and kids because I helped them move into their new place, and this is going to be great. I love barbecues, and he's telling me about all the food, the potato salad, the hot wings he's hooking up, his special recipe. He's talking about he's going to break out the good Nemirov Ukrainian vodka. He was Ukrainian, not exactly Russian, but he's talking about the little pickles that they eat. You do a shot, and you eat the little Glosson pickle or whatever it is, and I'm like, shit, man, this sounds great. I'm down. And, I show up to his house, and all the windows have trash bags taped over them so that the neighbors won't see when Jeanette gets there. Jeanette's the secretary or the greeter at the door, and Sergey's family's not there, and there's no coworkers there, and there's no neighbors there, and it's me and Sergey. It's me and Sergey sitting at a table with all this food. Quite a feast. Wonderful hot wings. He did have a good recipe. Big jar of pickles, and they do go well with that honey pepper vodka. And some intentions of rape, it seemed.
And did you stick around for more wings?
Well, she put up one hell of a fight. I'm going to tell you right now. No. So what I did was I stayed there all night drinking and eating with him, and I texted Jeanette not to come. That's exactly what I did. And we drank that entire bottle of Ukrainian vodka, and then we switched over to I don't remember what the other kind of vodka was because I just had split a bottle of Ukrainian vodka, and I slept in his young son's room, who was, of course, away because of rape barbecue.
But I saw this one on Ask Reddit. What's the fastest way you've ever seen somebody fuck up their life? Some terrible decision.
Like personally, or just like a celebrity or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I interpreted it to mean like somebody in your universe, someone you ran across, went to school with, worked with.
I immediately thought of one, but that's mean, so I won't use that one. I got to keep thinking about it.
I know. I have like a Yeah, I've watched alcoholism like really destroy someone, and I think that stands out to me as, but that's a little different from like making dumb decisions, because there's a genetic component to that, and but yeah, I've seen someone's life just absolutely wrecked by rampant alcoholism. Sometimes I drink a little too much, but I'm making a distinction between like that and you have to have a swig of vodka to wake up in the morning, like that level of physical dependency. 'Cause once you get to that point, it's really hard.
I mean, come on, just a capful so we don't get the shakes, right?
Yeah.
just a little, yeah.
Listerine.
Just to get well again. It's funny that was your example, because all I had in mind was an anti-example, and it was like they told me that everyone who did drugs was ruined forever, like those high school burnouts and stuff, that they had no future. And it just so happened, like some of the, I want to say the like number one burnout who was in my year of high school. I'm now Facebook.
What decade were you in high school?
Early 90s. I guess I started in 88, ended in 91, something like that.
You were raised with like the Just Say No, Nancy Reagan kind of.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that was, of course, she was
Her sitting on that couch judging you.
Yeah, she I guess was 80 to 88, but that was still like the thing. And they taught us that like these kids whose hobby was pot would go nowhere. And it's like, well, yeah, we're in our 40s now, so the score's posted, right? We got a rough idea where these people are landing. They weren't ruined.
No,
Like,
but on the other side of that coin, not with like the drugs people consider more serious now, but still with weed, like, of course it didn't quote ruin their lives, but I've seen people like in college go from, trying weed to just all day, every day getting high. And it's like, it's almost like that South Park thing, where they're like, oh, you know what, Stan, weed isn't going to kill you, but it makes you okay with being complacent and being lazy. And so many of these kids were smart, and they had like some partial scholarships to go to school or something. And so many of them ruined their fucking college career by doing nothing their freshman year, nothing their sophomore year, or just getting booted out after a year. And it's like, oh, okay, so you've basically set your life back years and years, and you're going to spend more money all because you wanted to get high. Like, your life's not ruined, but you've definitely shot yourself in the foot.
It's like you said, though, you referred to them as kids. They're technically adults, but like anybody,
you're 18.
They're kids. Like 18 to 21, I still say you're a kid. And when you're young, I think that's more the case, but I don't think it's necessarily always the case, or even the case for the most part, that if you smoke pot, it makes you okay with mediocrity or laziness or whatever it is.
I think all day, every day. Yeah.
Right. When you're young, like if I could go back and change anything about my pot usage, it would be I would have waited until I was like 25, until I had formed like a decent worldview or a semi-informed worldview, and I had some kind of goal or ambition or something like that. Because I absolutely fit into the category that you're talking. I went from being at a 4.2 GPA my senior year of high school. I was on the dean's list my first semester of college. Second semester I started smoking pot, and I ended up on academic probation because I didn't even show up to two of my finals, because I was that's all I did from the time I woke up until the time I went to bed. I think part of that also has to do with the forbidden nature of it all, of being told that it was so evil and wrong, and it makes it a little bit more alluring when you're young. So I don't know. I think ironically you can end up deterring a lot of kids from smoking so much pot by not demonizing it so much. When you make it up to be this big thing that it's not, then you add a lot of appeal to a lot of younger people that are looking to rebel.
It's like rates of alcoholism, I think, in Italy. I feel like this was used as an example in a class I took in college, where it's like in Italy, you start drinking when you're 16 or earlier, and the way you drink is your family has a big family meal, and you have a couple glasses of wine, and that's just what you do. And so when they turn 21 or they're a young adult, they're not going out getting hammered the way American 21-year-olds are, because they're like, oh, I finally got it. Let's just, vodka breakfast. Like, it's that same kind of thing. Like, it doesn't have that stigma in Italy, and so it's different.
I have an answer for the question. The quickest I've seen or know of someone fucking their life up, it was one of my mother's, she teaches, and one of her teacher friends has a son. And I knew him because I was like 8 years younger, but we'd go to their house and they'd have pool parties and stuff. And he was a nice guy. And he went off to school and he decided, I think Jackass was pretty popular this time, that he was going to pull a stunt and slide down a banister. This really high banister at school. He fell. He cracked his skull open. And he is now so mentally impaired that he requires assistance for all things. And so finishing school was completely out of the question.
That's sad.
It was
horrible.
It was forget about like getting some kind of I saw a kid that got shot in the head and he's like missing a quarter of his brain and he like somehow he got a degree, right? Like I don't know what special program they put that guy in, but this
just
guy
can't smell anything. Yeah.
This guy was not a candidate for that. It was like, okay, well now you're going back to home with your mom and dad and they'll care for you until you die.
I've got one.
The quickest.
I gotta pee. 1 second.
Okay.
So I went to high school with this guy, and the long and short of it is, they had a baby their sophomore year in high school, and I remember him telling me about it, like what led to it. At the time, I could not get laid at all, and his girlfriend was beautiful, and he wasn't, and he's telling me about it, and apparently they had sex a lot, right? So like 50 times unprotected sex. He figured, well, I guess I'm not fertile, or she's not, but clearly we're not having a baby because we
51.
Yeah, because we fucked 50 times and there's no kid, right? Probably over the course of like 2 or 3 months. And well, that lucky streak didn't hold up, and they had a kid. And I know that she stayed in high school, but it was very tough on her. Like socially, it was just a whole new thing. People felt that not like other girls weren't having sex, but of course she's the slut because she's carrying a baby, and she had no one to hang out with. She was miserable, totally miserable. And the dude ended up not finishing high school. Now I don't know what came out of him. For all I know, they're curing cancer or something. But it looked like life ended.
Yeah, that is rough. There, like what Kyle said, reminded me of another one with that guy with a brain injury. This wasn't. This is a guy I played hockey with when I was much younger, and I wasn't good friends with him or anything. Like it kind of stopped playing on the same team, and then kind of stopped associating and talking. And like it was probably 5 years ago now that my dad was talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, do you remember so and so from hockey when you were little?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I wonder what he's up to." And he's like, "Well, he got addicted to some kind of, I don't remember, like, because my dad didn't know, it was some kind of drug." And I was like, "Oh, like, so he has problems now? Okay, like, I guess if I ever see him, I'll say hi and see how he's doing." I talked to him on the phone once because, like, basically the message from my dad was like, "This guy's really struggling. Like, I know you're not his friend and you haven't talked to him in 12 years, but can you, like, just reach out?" And so I was like, "Okay." And so I gave him a call to say, like, "Hey, next time I'm in St. Louis, and next time you come to St. Louis, come, we'll talk and hang out." And the way he talked to me was literally like this. I'm not exaggerating. It's like, "Hey, what's going on, Joe?" He's like, "Hey, is this Taylor?" I was like, Yeah, it's Taylor. What's new with you, man? How have you been doing?" "Oh, good. Mostly." And it was like, it was honestly like, no, and it's not. It was the furthest thing from my fucking mind while talking to him was any kind of laughter, because I'd heard this guy talk in locker rooms as a normal guy before, and it was just heartbreaking to be like, holy shit, this guy, he's not going to get married, he's not going to have kids, he's not going to be able to have his own home, he's not going to be able to do anything, his life is fucking over.
Did you say his drug? Did I miss it?
I don't know what it was, but it must have been something severe based on the way he's articulating himself. Like it was just, there's something about like someone who, like, obviously it's tragic when someone's born with like Down syndrome or whatever, but it's so much more viscerally tragic because it's almost like a warning sign to you when you see someone who was born healthy and normal become, mentally inept because they bang their head or they do drugs or something. It's freaky. It's just sad to watch.
Yeah, that's fucked. Taylor, I want to completely change topics and talk about so I think this goes, I don't remember when the first time I heard Chiz talk about it. It may be like go all the way back in January when we were in Colorado, and he was saying, because I don't have the best of beards, and Chiz's beard is less than mine, and then we got Papa Bear over there. So like we're like the three little pigs, like with Chiz's got kind of a poor beard, if I'm being honest. He knows it. It's okay, it's not a big deal. You just rock the stubble and it's cool. Whatever. Yeah, bullshit my ass. It's shitty beard. Now you drugged me into it. Now I'll be straight.
He called
Shit
Kyle
beard.
a cunt.
Fucking shit scrubby ass fag beard. Like and then mine is like middle of the road or whatever. It's definitely patchy on the sides. Doesn't fill in as much as oh yeah, the F word. So yeah, I use the South Park explanation for that. You don't steal my word. I mean I love gay people, but you know, annoying people and jerks and people I want to call an asshole, I use the F word for. So that aside, mine's not all I would like it to be. And then Taylor is just Papa Bear over there. It's excellent. Woody is also very strong, but his wife doesn't allow it, so he's not in the running for any of this.
That kind of invalidates the strong argument, but carry on.
Yeah.
No, you courteously
I didn't
choose not
say
to.
it. I didn't say it. So what Chiz said in Colorado was, you can take minoxidil, which is the active ingredient in Rogaine, and if you apply it to your face over the course of 4 to 8 months, you will actually grow a thicker, fuller, bigger beard. And I thought that was bullshit at the time, but then like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started like, I get on YouTube and I go and I searched minoxidil beard to see what was up. And sure enough, there's all these videos of people into it. They're showing progression. There's people talking about the science of it and how it works and everything and how it does take quite a long time. And so like on a lark, I was like, alrighty then. I ordered myself a box of it, got a 1 month supply of it. And I mentioned it to Chiz like randomly, hey, I ordered some of this stuff. And he's like, oh, I've been on the program for several months now.
No.
He's like, I've been waiting on the final product to be ready to show off because I didn't want you guys to make fun of me. But he texts us a picture of his 6 month supply. Like he's been going for a while. And I'm like, I text a picture of my 1 month supply. And then Taylor gets on Amazon, like he needs it. And he immediately takes a picture of the Amazon purchase. He's also bought it. He's got it right there. So
I'm trying to figure out supply.
I'm trying to figure out if I'd rather have a full head of hair again or be able to grow a full beard. I don't think I have an answer yet.
You do have a full beard, though.
You don't have to choose.
I do, but
He's
no, I
talking
do
about
have
a trade.
to choose.
Oh, okay.
I do have to choose because I started noticing this little ring form, fucking about a year ago, and it just started getting bigger and bigger. So finally, I just buzzed it all off. But
The right call.
I'm trying to figure out.
I wanted to give you a compliment on that because so many guys pitter-patter around the shaved head thing for so long that when they finally do shave their head, it's like, aha, you've been defeated. You finally gave in. Like you let it.
The first sign of it, I was done.
I will also accept the nearly shaved head. Like I think, I don't know, half a centimeter. You know, some small amount of hair. If that's your preference, it works for me too. What I don't, the comb over is not the good one.
Balding sucks, man. I fucking hate it.
Is it traumatic? I'm sorry. I don't.
No. Go ahead.
On the balding, so. This burned into my mind. Jean-Luc Picard, people would ask him like, hey, you're the sexy bald guy, etc. And he got visibly upset. He's like, look, sometime in my early 20s, I started losing my hair. It is one of the most traumatic, devastating experiences I've ever lived through. I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, really? Like, it was?
I didn't have that much of a strong reaction, but it sucked. Like, I would look in the mirror and I'd be like, because it's so final. Like the finality of it is jarring. You know, reminds me
leprosy.
Reminds me I'm gonna die one day, and I don't know about you guys, but I didn't think about, just to get a little morbid with you. I don't know if I'm changing the subject, but like I didn't think about death too much until the last like 3 years, and now I'm terrified of dying. Like I think about it a lot. So when I started balding, I was like, it just reminded me that I'm just inevitably hurling towards. You know, death.
Yeah, it's like
I don't like that.
It's like leprosy for your hair.
My family is odd about that. So my family's odd in a bunch of ways. I've talked about it in sex a bunch of times. But the other thing is, like, I was raised knowing I was going to die. I guess we all were, but it's different. My parents have been planning their death for a long time now. They've got the plots, the whatever, but that's not it. They also, like, plan their disabilities. You're like, all right, so let's see, we're about 64 right now. They're like 70. And that means we'll have, like, 5 more good years of walking, so we want to get this done and that. And then we'll visit this other place that doesn't require the same kind of mobility, and they just have their decline all mapped out. They're maximizing their golden decline years.
That's why they're getting in so much fucking. That's what it is. They're like, baby, by the time you're 95, I'm not going to be able to throw it into you like the old days. So we better get in all this we can.
Throw it into you.
It could be.
Throw that phrase. I like
That's
that.
how they do it. He gives her a good rogering.
A good
A good rogering every night. He shows up, and that rock hard mammoth is just standing at attention, and she knows what's up. And I mean, and she also knows he's faster than her, so there's no point even questioning him. She knows what to do.
But for real though, do you guys think about death? Do you guys ever laying down, go to bed, and then all of a sudden in your mind you're like, one day I'm just going to cease to exist?
I've been
I think about it
comfortably
in terms of years, where I'll be like, in 2069, like how old would I be? And I'd be like, oh man, I very likely might be dead.
Yeah,
Like that's scary. Like and then I don't know why I think about it like this, but then I like will jump back a century and think about people who died in 1969 instead of 2069 or whatever, and think like, holy shit, think about how much has happened that they didn't even experience, that they didn't know was coming, and it's like, fuck, what's that going to be for me? Like, there's got to be so much cool shit coming that I'm never ever going to see, and I don't know. I don't dwell on it too much.
I can honestly say, and I don't want to come off the wrong way, but I'm really not afraid of death. You know, I've accepted it, right? Like I've done a stupid shit where like right before you did it, you're like, this could kill me. And I've kind of gotten numb to the idea that it's coming one way or another, preferably not later. I don't want to be diminished to the point where I don't enjoy daily life. If I can't even enjoy like sitting in a chair and watching CNN and playing video games, then like I want to die, and
you want someone to pull $1 million baby on you.
I absolutely do.
At some point, if it ever gets too shitty.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'll do it.
Dude, look, like there's been so.
Would you though? You say it.
Yeah,
no, I would
in a
not
lot of
kill
trouble.
Kyle.
No,
I would not kill
totally.
Kyle.
Like I've had this conversation I think 3 different times in my life where I told, like, we were working with flamethrowers specifically, and flamethrower, you've got a big tank of pressurized napalm on your back, and I would tell the guys with me, I'm like, look, I've got my pistol on my side. If I get fully engulfed and I'm on the ground like that Mel Gibson movie, We Were Soldiers, and I'm melting, someone kill me. One of you shoot me with your pistol, and then just take my gun out of my holster, put it in my charred hand, and that'll be the story. Like I'm serious. I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, look, I don't want to live like that even for 10 minutes, much less 50 more years. I'm very vain. I'm very, very vain. Kill me, please. And like, I've had 2 different people on different occurrences be like, I got you, man. And like no joke, no cracking a smile, be like, dude, I don't blame you. I got you. Like,
so I was in the same boat for a long time, and I had a friend who was like my age now when I was like 25, and he was really preoccupied with death all the time. He talked about how afraid he was of it all the time, and I remember thinking in my head that it was laughable. I'm like, what are you doing, man? It happens to everybody. You just got to accept it. It's gonna be fine. I didn't have any real serious concerns about not being on this planet during this time with all these people until like the last 2 or 3 years, and then it just hit me all of a sudden. And I honestly think it's given me a deeper appreciation for the things in life that I like, you know. So I think it's given me a lot of things that I'm grateful for, but at the same time, it's like always just nagging at me in the back of my head, you know. Like you're never gonna be on this planet again, you know. Depending, like even if you're a Buddhist and you believe in rebirth, or a Hindu, you believe in reincarnation or something, what are the odds that you're going to be reincarnated here on this planet?
Yeah.
Like,
and
why
clearly
would
nobody remembers it, and so that's why I always thought, like, but if you don't remember your previous lives, how is it even you? Like, it's what are you? But kind of an amalgamation of your past experiences.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, the Buddhists explain that by they'd make a distinction between rebirth and reincarnation. Like, reincarnation is the thought that it's the same soul being transferred to a different vessel every time. But the Buddhists say that, like, they say it's like a row of candles, and let's say you light the first candle, and then you use the first candle to light the second, and the second to light the third, and so on and so forth till you get to the 10th. And then they say, is that 10th candle, is that the same flame that existed on the first candle? And that's kind of how they look at coming back. Like, it's you, but it's not really you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I have a different take on the death thing, right? Death doesn't bother me too much. Death is something unfortunate that we all do to the people who loved us, but, you know, it happens. What I don't like, and I've already seen pieces of, is the decline of athleticism, right? Like, I really enjoyed training MMA. It was like, I was super into it. All my thoughts were consumed by it. But it gets to a point where it's like, God, like, I'm taking injuries from class to class to class that last for months now, right? You can't just sit there and fight 18-year-olds all day long at 40 and expect this to work out for you.